Yay.
We are live. Oh my gosh. Hi, Lorri.
How are you? Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Like I've been chatting with you for like the last 5 minutes.
I know.
It is so
It's
nice to see you too. I'm so
Thank you so much.
happy that you have decided to join me on my newly titled Happy Her Show. That's what I'm calling
I
it.
love that title, by the way. That's awesome. I saw the
Thank
title like that.
you.
I thought, oh my goodness, that is perfect. That is a perfect
Yes. So it's like a
title.
mix of,
That's fantastic.
happy for women, right? And then also happier, right? Because it's
Yes.
really about being happier,
Yes.
right? That's what it
Uh-huh.
is.
Uh-huh.
So
In
we
general.
don't
Yeah.
have to be
That's what it
yeah, all the time. Like we have life, right? Like so it's not just
is.
joy,
Yeah.
joy. It's like
It's yeah.
ways, that we
Happy little.
have yes, happy. So that's happy her. That's where we are.
That's
So
awesome.
thank you for
I like that.
joining me on Happy Her
Yeah.
today. I know
Thank
you
you for having
have
me.
huh? What'd you
Thank you
say?
for having me. That's awesome. Thank you for
Oh yes,
having
yes,
me.
yes. Yes, 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 yes. Thanks for agreeing to join me. So I guess we'll do like a few, like some brief introductions, and then we can start our happiness chat.
Of course.
Yay. So, well, I'm Kamesha, and I am the host of Happy Her, our newly titled show, as I had just mentioned.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
started this a couple of months ago. Really, it was a discussion that I had with one friend, and I just thought it was fun. So then I just started, talking to other women about it. And
Mhm.
now I actually feel like there's a goal here with
Yeah,
this show.
of course.
Yeah,
Of
to help
course.
women to be more kind of intentional, right, about
Mhm.
their
Aware.
happiness and
Mhm.
and paying attention to, what brings them joy so that they can
Right.
have more fulfilling lives, right? Like
Mhm.
that's my whole goal. That's the whole goal with the
That's
show.
great.
So I
That's
get
great.
every week to talk to like lovely women like yourself to understand their unhappiness and
Mhm.
what they do. And then there's always
Right.
something that people pick up, right? There's always something that people can learn.
Mhm.
So it's just
Definitely.
about, yeah, it's just sharing
Like
and learning.
share. I was gonna say spread it out. Let people,
That's it.
take what they can, take what they need, take what they need, take what they need.
Exactly. That's what it is. So
Uh-huh.
that's the show. So thank you for joining. So now, Lori, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Lorri DeJesus. I am a mom and I am a teacher. I teach first grade and I also teach dance classes. So I've been a dance educator for 25 years at least. And then, working with like children and like
Mm,
anywhere from children to adults, classes. So very interesting.
mm.
Very like, I guess that's one of my callings to kind of like, educate in general,
Yes,
educate.
it definitely sounds like it is educating. So you also teach adults at your school, or is it only children?
Um, I have not well at this school particular, the one we have the first position dance. We don't teach adults yet, but actually no, that's not true. We have a mom class, and so
Oh,
yes, and the last recital they performed, and they were just like, they were so excited. It was fantastic. It worked out really well.
a
Yeah,
mom class. I love that.
it was a mom class,
That's
and
a good
it's funny
idea.
because the dancers from the and the mom, they're like, "Mom, okay, now you have to pay attention, you have to count," and they're telling the moms all these things that they have to remember, and they're like, "Make sure you smile and you energy, mom, energy." Yeah, so we
They're
started
telling
that.
you.
Uh huh. They're telling them what to
Oh.
do. So
Well, whose
yeah.
idea was that? Was that your idea, or was it one of the moms that came and said, "Hey, we want
Um,
to
a
learn
little
to
bit.
dance"?
We had a couple of inquiries about like, hey, do you have any adult classes? And we're like, not really. We just have like big, kids all the way up, from two up, and and then we're like, oh, that would be fun though to have like a. And they're like, why don't we put it in the show like a number? And so we started rehearsing and rehearsing. We didn't. We only did like maybe a few weeks or maybe like a month of rehearsing, and then we just went because the theme of the show this past year in May was what do we do? Oh, through music through the time, like through the
Mm,
ages or whatever. And so we did like
mm.
50s, 70s, 80s, and it was 90s and whatever. So we did a number to that, and it was just really fun, really fun. And since I'm a
Oh,
mom, I mean, they put me in there. They're like, you should dance too. I'm like,
oh, you did
I
it
wasn't
too?
going. Yeah, of course. I mean, I did because I'm so busy teaching, and when I get a chance to perform, I'm like, okay, I'll do it, So, but it was fun. It was really fun.
Oh, I love that idea. I'm so glad that you did that too, because I think sometimes we feel like at a certain age we can't do fun stuff like that, right? We can't,
Oh my
join a
goodness.
dance class.
Yes.
We can't. It's like, oh, that's for the young kids, little girls. Like
Yeah.
my time, thing has passed,
Right.
kind of thing. And
like,
that's not
we're still here. We're still here.
Yes.
Like, we're right here.
Right. If you can move anything, you can
like, I'll just watch. Yeah, I'm good though. It's like, no, I kind of, and part of one of my little happy moments is to be like in it. Like I want to do it too, so that's happy for me.
Yeah, that is.
And the audience, yeah, it was nice. And the audience went wild, and we had like a pretty good, following. So, yeah, like 650, audience. So, it was pretty enjoyable. It was fun.
Are you going to do another mom class?
Of course. We're going to do, I had a thought today. I talked to one of the moms, and I thought we should do for the Christmas show, we should do a little kick line number, like a jazzy kick line thing.
Yeah. It's like the Rockettes, like the Rockettes do at the Rockettes.
Like the Rockettes, yeah. Except I know, except sassy, really sassy.
Yes.
I know, yeah. That's what we're gonna do it. I said I'm gonna make it up. So you girl, all the moms, they want, most of them want to do it. So
yes, this is so great. Like we see, we already are talking about happiness. I haven't asked one question.
I know,
except. Tell me about your mom dance class. Like, already, because that is exactly what you do, right? To find happiness, you do things that you enjoy, things that like maybe when you were younger you used to dance, or maybe you have stopped dancing for whatever reason, just out of life or whatever. But like getting back to things that actually are fun for you, right? Just like following your fun, which is one of the things we talked about last week. Like following your
fun follower,
and that will bring you happiness. And there's no age limit on that stuff. Like you could do that at any age, any time.
Absolutely. There's a lot of the moms say that they were like, oh, I was on the dance team, or oh, I used to dance when I was younger, and they just like jumped at the opportunity to perform. They were like, it was so exciting for them. Like I couldn't even tell you. They were just so excited to do it. And it just brought up something from a past experience. They were just like, and it was something to look forward to, something that they know they could do and accomplish, and like, wow, I did it. And it was good all around. It was really good.
Yeah. It's like you gave them a chance to like tap into something that they thought was gone. You know what I mean? Like it's something that but it wasn't gone. It's not. It was just dormant, right? It was there, like below the surface.
It was just
we gave them permission to be like, you're not too old to dance. You know what I mean? Like you're not too old to dance.
No, I know. That's good. And some of the moms were like, some of the moms were like, oh, should I do it or should I not do it? Oh, and then they started saying, well, I have this little one. I was like, we have other moms that can watch that are not dancing. And then, like some certain thing, I was like, don't make excuses. I was like, do you want to do it? Do you really want to do it? And they said, yeah, I really want to do it. I'm like, you should do it. If you really enjoy it, you should go ahead and do it. That kind of, so that's a kind of a funny thing too. Like some people what do you call it? They kind of like not make excuses, but they kind of like put things in front of them, in front of what they really want to do. I'm like, no, don't do that. If you want to do it, we can work it out. We can figure something out, and you can do it. So,
Well, that's just fear, right? Like, because it's probably
could be.
If they used to perform in front of people, they're like, it's been so long, or maybe they never performed in front of people at all, and they're like, can I get up there? And then they're like,
can I do this?
And then they make excuses and things like that, but. Really, you also can find happiness by challenging yourself, right? Like setting a goal, challenging yourself, following through, like, what they did here, and then being like super proud of your achievement. Like achievements, although I feel like sometimes in life, we talk a lot about happiness as only achievements. Like, you have to achieve this and this and this. And lots of times they're not even real
to be happy.
To be happy, right? But there is some form of like achievement for self, things that you really that are important to you. You set
Right.
goals that can bring you happiness once you actually reach that goal, or like move towards that goal at
That's true.
least in some
Towards
kind
it,
of
yeah.
path. Yeah. To achieving like that.
I think also too. I think also too, like when you're saying like the happiness is like when you get to, and even if you don't quite reach that goal, hey, that's progress. That's progress. Like you're getting there. You didn't get there yet, but okay. So it didn't happen the way you thought, but you're not where you were, so you're headed that way anyway. You're headed towards it. So that's a happy moment. So.
Well, it's exactly what you're saying. Like, it's the progress, right? Like, it's working towards something. Because I think that the opposite is what makes people kind of depressed. They're like, oh, my life is going nowhere. I'm not doing anything I want to be doing, like, because they don't have anything they're working towards, right? Like, even if you don't hit the goal exactly, at least you're on a path somewhere, right, where you could look forward to, like you said, you need things to look forward to in life, right? You have something that you're looking forward to.
That's for sure.
Right? These something you're aiming for. Like those things are also very important too. So congratulations to you for helping these ladies find happiness.
Thanks. Look, me and Jasmine trying to motivate, and not even intentional, just like offering, presenting the opportunity, and like see how it goes, and they just like jump on. They're just like, yeah, let's get in there and do that. So thanks.
Yeah, people don't always know, right? They don't always know that they can do something unless somebody presents them with an opportunity to try.
That's true too.
They're like, oh yeah, I actually think I need to do something like that.
I can do that. I can do that.
Yeah, I can do that. I used to do it. I guess I can still do it.
I used to. It's like right.
Yeah, and especially for women. Well, you're a mom, so you know this. We're so busy with everyone else, right? We're so busy helping everyone else, doing for everyone else, our family, our children, neighbors, the community, everything, that we don't even think about ourselves. Like, oh, what is it that we would like to do today? We don't even think about it sometimes because you're so busy. Wake up thinking about everybody else and what you can do for them.
I thought about that too, and I was like, when you say like about happiness, you're like, but I think too, when you talk about happiness, I had to think about this for a second. I said, what makes me happy? Then I guess you started, what do you want? And some people say, oh, I want my kids. I was like, no, you, like, what do you want? Like, not your son, not your daughter, not whoever, what about you? And not like in a selfish way, but just like think about like how, what, how you can manifest happiness in your life, and it starts inside. You have to start with, it's an inner thing for it to come, to come out. It starts inside first, I think.
No, that's a great place to start too, because you're absolutely right. When you are thinking about happiness, you do have to actually question yourself. What is it that I want? Not is it what someone told me I should want? What is it that my parents said I need to want? Right? Yeah. What is it society tells me that I want? Right. What is it my peers tell me I should want? It's like me, be me. Like you actually have to sit with yourself and decide, what is it that I actually want? Yeah. And people don't do that.
Yeah,
I think it's challenging.
No, they don't. And I think part of being it is challenging. It's challenging. And then parts of that, people will say, oh, I'm not even happy. And then like you ask them in the same you ask them, well, what do you want? If they go, I don't know. There you go. You don't know what you want. So how can you be happy? Like you don't know. Like you have to look. Like you have to explore that. That has to be look into that and see what. Then you'll get there. You'll look into that and you'll get there.
That might be the question of the whole show, right? Just start with that. Just start with asking yourself, what is it that you want, right? What do you want in life? What do you want for yourself? And also you mentioned too, you said not in a selfish way. And I think that's the other reason sometimes people don't think about it, because they don't want to be seen as selfish. Like, oh, I don't want people to think I'm only concerned about myself. it's not to exclude other people. It's to include yourself,
No,
right? Not to
right,
exclude. And I think sometimes there's this
right.
I don't know. I don't know. People are saying things like, "Oh, if you are thinking about yourself, you're not thinking about others. You need to spend more time thinking about others. You're too selfish. You're only concerned with yourself. You're so self-consumed. You're so da 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 da." But that's just their way of
No.
saying pay more attention to me, right? That's all that is. Pay more attention to me. Pay more attention to my needs, right? Don't be so concerned with yourself. When
Yeah,
that
yeah,
really
yeah.
isn't the case, you do need to, I think, start with yourself, right?
Hmm.
You can't exclude
Yeah,
yourself and say, "Oh, I'm so
you
selfless. It's
can't.
all about everyone else." No,
No,
that's
you can't. You
realistic.
can't.
And
I think it's like that. It's like that. You know how that. You know when you go to take a flight, it's like that thing that people say, like when you, and God forbid there's an emergency, put your mask on first, then you can take care of somebody else. Like if you don't have
mhm,
yours on, if you don't have yourself, how? I mean, you can kind of give them bits and pieces of yourself, but it won't be your genuine, your authentic self because you don't even know what you need. Like you're not even taking care of your own needs, so it's kind
no,
of hard
you're
to kind
real.
of like pass that
No,
along.
no, you're absolutely right.
You can give them so
And
you can
so,
give them something. It might not be your best, but you can give something.
so when did you get to this question that you, for happiness, that you had to start with yourself? Was it just when you started thinking about this talk, like, "Oh, I have to start with what it is I want," or is that something that you've kind of known now for a while?
No, it was kind of like after. Well, it's been ongoing, sort of, but after I think after divorce, pretty much, I had to kind of like,
Mm,
not even reinvent myself, just to kind of like renew, almost like
mm,
rejuvenate myself in a way that I'm like, okay, well, this is happening. Okay, life,
mhm.
that's just a life thing, whatever. Okay, so now what do I do? And now I'm like, well, I don't know. Well, what do I want? Like what do I want to do? Like
Right,
it. I mean,
right.
it's. I'm limited. I mean, there's endless possibilities. I could be a clown. I
Mhm.
could be like, I could be a truck driver. I could be, I'm just saying, like I could do a whole, many things. I could do many things. It's just a matter of what do I feel like I want? I'm like, I don't know. Let me
Right,
write this. And
right.
I started by journaling. I was like, let me write this down so that I can kind of like think about it and kind of like, what I want, what I want to see. I could journal about a whole bunch of things, your kids and like stuff like
Mhm.
that. And, but I was like, no, let me just kind of focus on myself for a little bit and kind of get myself together and inside, get your mind right. And that's where I
Yeah.
started. That's where I started.
Absolutely. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
you've made some good points here. I mean, you had taken an opportunity when you had to start over to like truly start over, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when people
Yeah,
are
yeah,
starting
yeah.
over, whether it be after, a relationship ends or maybe a job ends or
Mm-hmm.
you're just moving into a
Yeah.
new phase, right? Like my children are grown now, so I
Oh,
can't sit around going on about all the things I have to do for them. Like that's kind of
yeah. Right,
it's like,
right.
no, like
Yeah,
now, right now, I need to figure out,
yeah.
okay, what is it I want to be doing like for myself and truly
Mm-hmm.
take it
Yeah,
as an opportunity to do something good for you, not look at it as a
right.
loss, but like look at it as, oh my goodness, this is like a new kind of exciting
Mm-hmm.
stage that I'm entering
Yes.
into for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
journaling
Yeah.
is powerful. Like I love journaling. I talk about journaling all the
Yeah.
time. I think
Oh,
journaling is
really?
super
Yeah,
powerful.
it is. It is. And I confess, I have like five journals. But anyway, but I have like a lot of stuff that I like to write. I'm like writing here. I have this one, and I have another
Mhm,
journal. that kind of thing. But
mhm.
yeah, I like it too. I enjoy it. I enjoy
Yeah.
it. And
No,
it, like
I
you
mean,
and like you said in that. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
In that uh in the midst, I heard some podcast once, and it was saying in their talk, they said that in the midst of, I think it was Deepak Chopra, I think he said, in the
Mm,
midst of chaos there are numerous possibilities. So in the middle of like whatever it is going on,
yep.
if you stop and be still for a minute, just be still for a minute, there's a lot you can do, like almost anything. Like you can really do almost anything. That's really
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yep.
a really powerful outlook too, because some people think you can't do anything, right? Like, oh my God, life is
I
over.
know.
What do I do? Instead of
I was
saying,
like, don't get, yeah, because
if you just are still, like you said, if you actually sit in it and say, well, wait a second, there is still
I could
life
actually,
here, right? Like there is still life. I'm still
yeah,
alive. Like I still
yeah,
have
yeah,
dreams. I still have things that
yes,
maybe I didn't even know, were inside of me that now I have an opportunity to explore
Mhm.
or to look into
Uh,
or to even think about. It's just think about,
yeah,
right? Maybe, you never even had the time to do that.
yeah,
And then see where that takes you.
the right,
And
where
it seems
see where
like
it
you're doing
takes
all
you,
right
yeah,
now with your
definitely.
dance studios. Your mom's out there dancing with you. Like you have really taken it as a the possibilities. Like have explored the possibilities in a good way of how you can move
Right.
on from there.
Yes, it's
Wow.
been awesome. And even like yeah, even like people that like, oh, I want to go back to school and I want to do this, I want to do that, like all these little like happy moments that you can have for yourself, you know.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great. And
Okay.
usually little happy moments lead to the joy.
Mm-hmm. So you said happiness starts with what do you want, right? So that's where you start. But what have you come
That's
to
what I think. That's what I
as Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. You absolutely do need to know. That is the right place to start. And probably if you were to talk to any like happiness counselors or whatever, they would say the same thing. Like first you have to start with what is it that you want to get to happiness, right? You can't start with in the middle
would
of
think
nowhere. I
so.
know nothing, I have no ideas. No. You have to start with
Right,
something. And we all
right.
know we might not be afraid to admit it, or we might be afraid to admit it, I should say, or we might
Mhm,
not want
mhm.
to sit with ourselves long enough to really figure it out, but it's there. We all
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what it is
Mhm.
for sure. So, what have you decided it is that makes you happy? What is happiness for you?
Okay, so for me personally, because I know everybody has their own version of happy. So for me, I think it's a peace. I think it's just peace in relationships,
Mm,
peace in like health,
mm,
peace in like my lifestyle. For me, it's just peace. Spoke to someone not too long ago, and they said for them it's kind of like a security. So for everybody, it's a different thing. It's a different thing, which is interesting. So for me,
peace.
it's pretty much peace, peace and
Mm,
yeah, peace in relationships, peace in like in harmony. Like it's just for me.
mm-hmm.
That's what works. That's where
No,
I just
no,
okay. And sometimes sometimes when you're not happy, then it's like, well, something's off, right? Something's off. Something's either not in peace, and peace is not here, or there's a disharmony somewhere. So and then you try to like get back to that. So
yeah, but you have to know that first, right? Like you first have to know that
yeah,
you
you
are
do.
not feeling your best and something is off, and
Or
then
else, how would
because you
you
know
know? Yeah.
yourself, yeah, because you're
Hmm.
knowing yourself or at least learning yourself or figuring it out. You're like, no,
Right.
there's some disharmony here. There's something is not at peace, and I
Hmm.
need to figure out how to get back
Yeah.
to that.
You need to
Wow.
figure out. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Peace.
Yep.
I love
So
that.
yeah. Peace.
I had another guest who
Yeah.
actually
For
said the
me.
same thing. She said peace for her. For her,
Oh yeah.
happiness was peace. Hmm.
Really.
Yep. She
Oh,
just
okay.
wanted
Okay.
like life to
That's
just be
awesome.
peaceful and kind of calm. And so when life was like
Yeah.
that, I'm
As much
happy.
as possible. It was good. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and then there's the harmony, like I get peace. Well, yeah, mostly peace, but like peace and harmony because it kind of goes a little bit hand in hand. Because if there's
Yes.
a balance, if there's a
Yes.
certain balance in it, then it's good, right? Because if you don't
Hmm.
like I don't know finances or whatever, like if you say, oh well, somebody spends too much money, then somebody spends not enough, or knowing this or on that, then it's kind of
Hmm.
out of balance. But if there's a balance in your relationships and finances and whatever your lifestyle, like I don't know, health or whatever, then
Hmm.
I mean,
So what do you
works.
do? Like what are your steps if you're not feeling your best, let's say, and you're like something is not at peace or in harmony here, what do you do to like
Mm-hmm.
explore it to try to bring back the
Um,
harmony?
to bring back. Yeah, well, for me, I always like stop first.
Mm.
I have to stop and like give myself like a scan, like, all right, what, like you said, like, what is it? Like, what's bothering me, or what's going on that's not in balance? You know, I have to kind of do like a scan, like, okay, is it a relationship that's something's not right? Is it like finances? Is it my health? Is something off? Or is it like a spiritual thing? Like, you're like, I don't even, like, am I even, some, I just kind of like scan myself, go over it, and try to, to get myself back. It needs to depend on what it is. Okay, so like if you have like a certain like nutrition, like say like, like, man, I've been really tired lately, and you say, oh wait, what have I been eating lately? Wait, oh, like too much sugar or something, like, or whatever, like, and you say, oh, let me just scale that back a little bit, and kind of like, but that's an example or whatever, like that kind of thing. So that's what I do. I just kind of scan it and kind of like say, okay, I already know, and because like I know what makes me happy now, like, so, or close to it, you can kind of scale it. You know how to get back because you were there already. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were there before, so you kind of you know how to get back, and you might even make it better because so
or get back there quicker.
Get there a little quicker.
So what I'm hearing is you have to be aware, first of all, right? There needs to be some awareness that something is actually off. And then you stop, right? And you really have to examine like what's going on. And then you take an action to like put you back
you just
in balance.
Yes.
Wow.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
That is great. That is like super simple that anyone can do that. That is very achievable for everyone. And that example you gave me, it reminded me of something, how my mom was talking about like she wasn't able to sleep or something. And then I always go back to like you, like, well, what's been going on? Like, what have you been eating? I always start eating. What have you been? It's like, oh, I had pork, and pork, always gives me bad dreams. And then, she realized I can't sleep when I have, pork, stuff like that. But that is like a simple awareness, right? That we all can be paying attention to sometimes, right? If we feel like out of balance in any kind of way, it's kind of just go back and be aware that you're out of balance. And then like, examine, okay, well, what's going on and what have I been doing? And then adjust like accordingly, right? You can't just go on like, something's wrong, and like ignore, complain, because then you'll be stressed, then you'll be overwhelmed, then you'll be snapping at people, and then you'll be it's like, why go through all of that?
I think it's true. And I think too, like, if you like pay more attention, so okay, say you get to a point where you're like, I'm feeling really good. Like, everything's pretty much at peace here with my life. Everything's pretty much in balance. Okay, nothing's perfect because nothing's just perfect, but it's good. Like, it feels good. So pay attention and remember how that feels. Because then when you're not in balance, you'll say, oh, I know something's off because I don't feel the same way that I felt before. So now I know some. That's a way to kind of know. But, you have to, once you like be aware of what you want and all that stuff, then you get to that point. But when you get to that point, you got to kind of like listen to that, like feel that, see what, like, enjoy that moment and see what that feels like. So then when you are off, you'll know like almost right away. You're like, something's off. I don't know what, and then you kind of like go through, you kind of like scan yourself, your life, and see what, you'll know what that is. But
yeah, it sounds like you're saying to be actually more present, right? Like with yourself, right? So if you are having a good day, a good moment, a good whatever, and you should be more present to be like, okay, something good is going on here. What's happening, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy it, be excited about it, but also pay attention so that you can figure out, okay, what was happening in that moment that, made me feel this way, which was, obviously a good way.
Yeah, I think so.
So that you can get back to that feeling.
Yes.
That is another good tip, Lorri.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. It's funny because people think like, I've heard people say, oh, well, happiness is temporary. I'm like, it can't, well, it depends on what it is. I mean, it can be temporary, but those little temporary moments of happiness, that's where your joy is. mean, that's the umbrella of that is joy. Like, I think so. Like, this is happy. You're happy in this. You're happy in that. You're happy in the other thing. Then that'll be your joy. I mean, you're getting to it. You're coming to it. So I think so. And keep your positive pants. And keep your positive pants on.
Yeah, your positive pants.
Positive.
I like that.
I mean, you gotta keep your positive pants on. Because if you don't, then you're gonna be like you say, complain about this and complain about that. Well, you're gonna burn yourself. You're not gonna get anywhere. Like, you're gonna be going around in circles trying to.
Positive pants on. That's so funny. I like that. I might use that. I'm gonna put that down here. Positive pants on. Positive pants. But no, you're right. I think sometimes people do think that happiness. I remember having this conversation with one of my sons when he was in high school. And so, like, the first couple of years, because he went to an all-boys school, so, he wasn't too excited about that at first.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, he was, like, not in the best place. Yeah, like, why are we doing this, And we were talking about, happiness, and he was under the impression, too, that it was like you get to this place of happiness. He's like, I'm just not happy here. It doesn't make me happy. It's not happy. I'm not being happy. And I had to explain to him, like, there is no low happiness city that you're going to drive to, you're going to get to, and you're going to stay there for the rest of your life. Like, that's not how it works. It's a moment, like you said, moment to moment thing. It's like you have, happy moments, joyous moments, you like stack them as best you can, right, to extend it. But there's not one day when you're like, oh my gosh, when I do this thing, when I get to this school, when I meet this girl or whatever he was going through at that time, then I'm going to be happy. No, that's not actually how it works.
No,
it doesn't work like that at all.
Like for me, it doesn't. It doesn't. I used to live for when I was younger, I used to live for the summer. I'd be like, in the summertime, I'm going to do this and this, and this is going to be so great. And then, like, when I got
older, oh, we lost Lorri. I'm sure she'll be back in a second. I hope she realizes that she's been lost, but I'm sure she'll be back in a second. But she actually is saying something here that is very, very important. When we are, I think, younger, because I think when we're younger, we spend more time in happiness and joy. Oh, there she is. Oh, you're back.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, I don't know what happened there. You dropped off. You were saying in the summer, you used to be looking forward to happy times in the summer only. Uh-oh, she's frozen. Oh, you're frozen.
Okay.
Can you hear me? We can see you.
Oh, there you are.
Oh,
okay.
You're back.
I don't know what happened. Oh, there you are. Okay. My screen shut off and
yeah, I don't know. You just kind of fell off. You were like saying something about summer, and then you know how the sound goes.
Yeah.
And then you're gone.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So I was living for the summer, and then when I get older, I was like living for the weekend and living for Friday, and I was like, well, this is not really happy. And I was like, oh, I'll be happy. The weekend's coming, it's fine, whatever. And I was like, wait a minute. And after I was like, why can't I just be happy? Like, find some happiness in the moment, like every moment, whatever that is. I'm just gonna have to find it, and I'm gonna have to intentionally look for that happiness. Like, it may not be like perfect, but find something that makes me happy in that moment, in that day. Like, just break it down. Like, find something. We're sitting in a meeting. Okay, I don't really want to be here. Whatever. I'd rather be like somewhere else. But, what's in the meeting that's interesting? What's in the meeting that's happy? Like anything. Just what's in the day? What's in the weekend? What's in the week? So. Yeah.
Do you think you have a pretty, like, positive and kind of optimistic, like, disposition in general?
I do, actually. I've heard people say that, and I actually do. And I'm like, oh, man, like, like sometimes my kids are like, they'll say something will happen, and they'll be like, oh, my goodness. And I'll be like, well, at least, they didn't break their leg or whatever, like that kind of thing. They're like, I guess so. They're like, yeah, I just try to be grateful, try to be thankful in every situation as much as possible, and keep it moving.
Yeah. I hear
Keep
that.
it
Like I hear that coming through in what,
moving.
everything that you're saying. It's almost
Yes,
like
yeah.
not, dwelling on the negative or focusing on
Yeah,
that. Actually get
no, I
back
don't have
to,
to do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
what can we gain from this? What can we learn from
Mhm.
this? How can we use this
Yes.
in, some kind of positive
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
kind of like
This year.
pull us
Definitely.
down. But yeah,
No.
you're absolutely right. Definitely being happy in the moment, kind of like, how can I be happy? That's it. Like, not
Hmm.
I'm waiting for the weekend to be happy. I'm waiting for Friday to be happy. I'm waiting for
Right.
the summer.
Whatever.
I'm waiting for my
Yeah.
vacation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's great to look forward to all of those things, as we've said. Like,
Right.
absolutely
Yeah, it's
great to look
good.
forward to those things. But like, life is day to day, right? So what are you
Mm-hmm.
doing kind of
Mm-hmm.
day to day, moment
Day
to
to day.
moment?
Yes. True.
Yeah. To
Yeah.
explore
Yeah.
your happiness. Yeah. And be
Yeah.
intentional about it. That was the other good thing
The
you said.
intentional is
You
good.
have
Yeah.
to really be intentional, because
True.
it is very easy in this world and in this life where we all have so many things, right, coming
Mm-hmm.
at us. Even if you're not, maybe you don't have a mom, you're not a mom, and maybe you don't have a whole lot, of people in your life.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a
Right.
lot of things coming at you that can
Right.
distract you, that can,
Right.
move your focus into
Yes.
a very negative downward spiral place, very, very easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No.
just
True.
watching the news, like I've actually started like not watching the news much. I'm like, I
Oh,
can't.
I don't really watch it. I don't do that.
You don't
I
even
just
watch.
don't. Like I'll watch it once. Okay, once in a while. Like I'll just like really quick, like real quick. Give me the highlights. Okay, all right, done. I'm done. Like I'm not gonna sit there and like, oh yeah, like get some popcorn. And like I'm not gonna sit there and like have a meal in front of the news. Like you'd be so
People do.
just
What do you mean? They do it all
people
the
do.
time.
People
They
do
do.
that, and like
It's a
that's their thing.
lifestyle.
But I wouldn't recommend it. Like I don't, because it can bring you down real fast. Because like, well, everything is I mean, everything is you just you throw your hands up if you just watch every second of the news so much all the time.
Yes, yes.
I
No,
just
no, absolutely. And that doesn't help with your, if you're trying to find happiness in the moment, watching the
Mhm.
news isn't going to always give you
That's not
happiness
that might
in the
not
moment.
that might not do it. No, that might not do
No,
it.
but actually, it is small actions like that that people can take, right, on their own to
Mhm.
improve their joy. Because I used to
Definitely.
think I've never been a person. I remember when I was in school, we used to have to do like current events. I don't think they
Oh
really
yeah.
do that anymore. But we used to have to do current events. You have to find a news story and stuff. And I never liked it. It was always bad news.
Yeah.
And then when I was
Yeah.
older, people would talk about, oh, this is happening and that is happening. Because I wasn't a big news person. I always felt like
Yeah.
I wasn't being a part of the stuff, right? Like I wanted to be a part of it. Like, oh, it seems like I'm not um worldly, or it seems
Well,
like I'm not,
yes.
paying attention to what's going
Yeah,
on in the
that's right.
world. So then I started
I get
watching more news so I can be a part of the
Mhm.
conversation. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I don't care about that. Like that news
It's
is
like that's what I said. Like run through the highlights, tell me what's happening, and then that's it. Okay, I got it. Go. Like that's it.
because you can get really sucked into some
You can.
really negative news for a
Oh
long
yeah.
time, or
Oh
negative
yeah.
conversations around the news. You know what I mean?
Oh
Next thing you think the world is ending and everybody's gonna die and all this stuff. It's like,
yeah.
no, I can't. Mm-mm. I want
Yeah.
to be
Like it.
a little
Yeah.
informed. At least I know
And
if
then
there's a war,
right.
or something like
Mhm.
that going on.
Yeah. All
But
that.
but at the
Other
same time,
than
I'm not
that,
gonna sit there and give hours and hours to this killing or this murder or this
no. Yeah.
injustice or this
No. Yeah.
fire or this death or this
Like
like. Mm-mm.
yeah. Like they're going.
Oh, what'd you say? Uh-oh, you're frozen again.
But yeah.
Oh, sorry, you froze. What were you saying?
That's okay. No, I said I wouldn't need all those details like court trials and all that kind of stuff. I don't need all the details of that. So yeah.
No, no, no,
No.
no, not at all, not at all.
No, thank
Oh
you.
my
No,
goodness,
thank you.
this is great. You said something too. Umbrella, your umbrella is joy. Umbrella of joy. I like this.
Yes.
I'm gonna use that
Yes.
too.
Because you got
Umbrella.
like I just feel like you have the little like happy moments, like you have happy here, happy here, happy here, and in that, then you get your little umbrella going, and then you just walk around. I don't know. I'm just like paraphrasing right now. I'm just walk around and like this is your.
It's a good visual though, Lorri. Like it's a good visual. It's almost like you're even protecting yourself from all of that like negative rain or whatever. Or
I mean, you are.
There
you are.
That's going to kind of bring you down.
You kind of are, yeah, because you're just from, like I said, from the inside out. So you're like kind of like, okay, this is my little thing here, and you can say whatever. I mean, you can say things. People say things. Not everybody's nice, but people say things. You're like, all right, well, you have a great day, whatever. Like you just kind of like stay positive and whatever.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You can't change everything. So. I know, really. It's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea.
Wow. Yeah, this has been so fun, Lorri. I think I have gotten a couple of great little phrases that I'm going to be using, like positive pants, my umbrella of joy.
Positive
but
pants.
Also, I do feel that you have shared some techniques, that people can use. Of course, journaling. I love journaling. Anytime, journaling.
Yeah, get a journal. Start writing that stuff down, and write down the good things and the bad things. Don't just write down bad things. Just write everything.
No, write the good things. I used to keep a journal of bad things when I was younger, because you're writing down like somebody that made you upset or something that makes you mad. You're like, I'm just brother didn't listen to this, that, another. And then when I get older, actually, that I was like, oh, something good happened today. Maybe I should put that in there too. You know what I mean?
Write that down. Yeah. Yeah,
but it's an awareness. Back to what you were saying about how what it is you do when you are not feeling your best. You kind of have to stop, right? Become aware. You actually pay attention to your life while you're living it, right? To be aware that something is off.
Yes, right.
Examine what's going on. Yeah, like take some action to like move you to that place of happiness. In your case, it would be peace and harmony. But whatever it is for you, you definitely have to stop and pay attention to what's going on.
I think so too.
Yay! This has been great. Oh my goodness.
I do have a quote though. I saw this quote I want to read to you. It's from Mahatma Gandhi. And it says happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony.
I love that.
You think about
like you should put that on a poster next to that lady's face back there.
Yeah, really. And actually, me and Gandhi and I have the same birthday, which is really funny. So.
Oh, really? No wonder you are so in tune with him, because that is exactly what you said happiness was, and I just
happened to see this, and I was like, wait, I thought I saw a quote somewhere. That's the Pinterest, So yeah, what you think and what you say and what you do. So if all of those are lined up pretty good, you have to, when everything's in harmony about what you think about, what you do, what you say, then that's pretty much, and like, that's a good way to start anyway.
Yeah. All right. So in our last moments here, is there anything else you wanted to share before I ask you my last question? Anything else about happiness? Or anything else?
No. No. It's just like okay. Well, like with the kids, just real quick. So over the years, like, kids, like they fall and scrape their knee, or they fall off their bike, or somebody's mean to them at school or whatever it is, like that. I tell them, it's like, it sounds like corny, but it's like when people say, oh, find your happy place. So in looking into yourself, I'm like, well, do you know certain things, certain truths about yourself that are true, that are correct, like that you believe, and then you find your happy place in that. You know that, okay, like if someone hurt your feelings, you're not that name that they called you, or that kind of thing, and that kind of thing. So yeah, over the years, it's been really challenging with the kids to kind of keep their help them develop a self-esteem and a confidence and like a happy time, like for like different things that happen in life. So that's That's been an ongoing challenge. And even as they get older, they're like, oh, I mean, this happened or whatever happened. I'm like, and they're like kind of really like bummed out about it. I'm like, well, let's just think about what's good in the moment, like, but that's a constant, even though kids, from whatever age, then you still gotta keep talking to them about that, stuff like that. But
no,
yeah,
I mean
that's
that's a great conversation to have with children,
that's another,
especially because there's adults I think that can benefit from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where something will happen like outside of you, whatever it might be. Actually, I had a conversation with one of my sons earlier today because I don't know, I just wasn't having like the best day yesterday, and I was like not getting good news, everything. It was just good news, not good news, not good news, not good news. And we were talking, and I had to say, I was like, this is happening for a reason. Like, this is happening for a reason. And what do I know to be true about me? Right? Like, if you have these things that are going on that are kind of negative, that make you feel a way about yourself, like, well, maybe I'm not this, or maybe I'm not that, or I shouldn't be reaching for this or going for that or whatever. And I actually did, like, literally as we were talking about it, because he's a little bit more sensitive than me when something negative happens. So he's like, oh, I'm glad we're having this conversation because you're always so, positive about everything. But, but I really did. I had to sit and think to myself, like, as we were talking, I was like, but you know what? That's not even true. Like, that's not, I can't feed into like what's going on, like kind of around me to make that mean something about who I am. When, like you said, who do you know yourself to be, right? Who do you believe that you are? What do you think is capable? What do you think you're capable of? Not, what other people are telling you, not what other people are saying, not what is happening kind of around you, but going back into yourself, into who you are, and knowing who you are, like the truth of who you are. So that's a lesson I think that's amazing for children, absolutely, because adults, we still need that lesson, like constantly. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, of course. Yeah, because that's not really because I mean, if you stand in your truth and you know who you are, I mean, so that what they're saying or what they're doing is not a reality for you in the first place.
Right.
So your perspective is of yourself is like, you're like, oh, I'm not that. So I'm, so that's not even a thing. But showing them how to do that is like a big deal.
Yeah. So, yeah. Because what you have to do is you have to actually start what we said. You have to get to know yourself, right? You have to spend time with yourself. You have to get to know yourself. You have to believe certain truths about yourself, no matter what other people are saying, right? Get to know yourself, believe certain truths about yourself, and like live in those, right? Spend time like actually living in those, not living in the negative things. We get so wrapped up when someone says something negative, like, oh my God, is that really true? Like, do I really act that way?
You keep playing it back in your head over and over and over and over.
But if somebody compliments you or someone says something, oh, wow, Lorri, you're so positive and you're so optimistic. You're like, right. So, but those are the things that we really should be feeding ourselves, right?
Yes.
Those are not the things that we're feeding ourselves. We're like feeding ourselves negative, like figuring out how to get over that. It's like, no, don't listen to that.
That's true.
Yeah.
You gotta keep all the positive, all the who's ever on your team in your head, like the they people, whoever they are. keep them, some people that you have certain times, like certain experiences happen like over the years, and you'll say, and you keep repeating that same thing from that one guy in fifth grade or whoever, a girl in fifth grade that says something about like your hair or something, whatever, and you'll keep repeating it every time you go to like get your hair done, or every time you go like buy a hair product, you're like, oh, you keep repeating the same thing. You got to get rid of all those things. I don't know how, but I'm sure there's a way to kind of remove those negative, what do you call it? It keeps feeding, going back.
Those negative thoughts.
Keep repeating.
Well, I think you can go back to what we've mentioned a couple of times, which is journaling. So I was doing this program, but I didn't do it very long. So it was, oh my gosh, I gotta think about what the name of it is. It's escaping me as we're talking. But let me just keep saying the exercise, and then maybe it'll come back to me. But one of the exercises was to write letters to different people in your life who kind of made you think something about yourself or made you stop believing in something about yourself, right? And it
Oh,
kind
that's
of
interesting.
stuck with you, like you said, it kind of stuck with you. And
Yeah.
so for me, one of the letters was to like a person, who used to be in our life when I was younger, like a friend of
Right.
like the family or whatever. And
Yeah.
I remember, and it's so funny too, because now it had to be like 40 years ago or something, but it's still very vivid.
You
And
still
so I
right? That's so
remember,
crazy.
yeah, it was still there. And so I remember like I was going around the house like singing. And he
Uh-huh.
said, like, who told you can sing? You're not a singer. You're
Yeah.
not, I don't know, some celebrity or something. Like, stop all that
Yeah.
singing. You're just making noise. And as a child, you don't think about that, right? You're just kind of going about your life. Everything is great. You're
Yeah.
like singing, whatever. And it
Yeah.
actually made me think, oh my gosh, there's things I'm not good at that I'm doing. Like, and really started like second guessing myself just because of that one comment.
One
Like one
thing. Yeah.
comment
Yeah.
who you like admired or respected or you cared about their opinion made you
Yeah.
think kind of lesser of yourself. And then
Yes.
I realized it also made me take like less risks with things. I'm like, well, what if I'm not good and I think I'm
Mm.
good, because of what this one person said who didn't know
And,
that was going to impact me in that way. But then
yeah.
I wrote this letter like telling them like what they said and what they did. I
Mhm.
didn't mail it, of course, but I wrote the
Yeah.
letter
Yeah.
how it upset me. But it actually helped me to kind of release that. So it's not something I'm like
Good.
thinking about
Hold
all
on
the time.
to. Don't hold on to it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's
it
good.
made such an impression on me
Mm-hmm.
that like I said, was thinking, oh my gosh, what if I think I'm doing well, but I'm really not, because of that one,
Yeah.
kind of comment instead of just saying that was just whatever they were
Yeah.
going through and whatever they were doing. Maybe I was too loud that day. They just wanted quiet. They didn't like a lot of noise. So maybe that was what it was.
Yeah.
And I took
Whatever.
that
Yeah.
part like to mean something about myself. And
Oh yeah.
so you can write letters if there are people who have had
Mm-hmm.
experiences or impacts in your life that you are still reflecting on today, and then
Right.
maybe just tell them what it was they did and how it made you feel, and like forgive them for it, and then move
Mm-hmm.
on. That's
Mm-hmm.
a
Let
good
it
way
go.
to let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. The letting go is letting go of negativity is a good thing too.
Yeah,
But
but you do have to,
mhm.
sometimes you have to go back far because a lot of this stuff is
Yeah,
implanted from like
it's,
childhood.
it's I know that childhood things are like so like what do you call it? Well, because children are impressionable, right?
Impressionable.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it just makes it such a big impression, like that those years, those formative years that you just hold on to. But a lot of people do. Apparently, I'm sure a lot of people hold
Oh,
on to like, other things. So, which
well,
is
because when you're a child, you don't know you're looking to the adults to tell you how to kind of be in life,
yeah,
right? Like how to kind of
yeah.
move in life. And
Hmm.
so that's why. So when you take in whether it's something good or whether you have people who have their own hurts and
Hmm.
frustrations and things, but you still take all of that in too because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the way I'm supposed to kind of be in life. Like you're
Yeah.
looking at it, you're supposed
You like
to.
it. Right.
And yeah, and sometimes people don't even ever like re-examine those things, right? As you get older and you see maybe some of your habits or the actions that you take are not getting
Mhm.
you the results that you want, you do have to examine, like you said, like go
Right.
back and find out what was
Yeah,
it that happened. Maybe
that's true.
I'm not advocating everybody goes to therapy and talk about things that happened when they were 5. I'm not saying
No, but they
if
should
you
definitely look into that and find
yeah, if
out.
you have something right in your life that is like preventing you from being the person that
Mm,
you want to be, then a lot of it does
right.
go back to childhood and kind of undoing some of that and like
It does.
relearning
Yeah,
things.
that's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Just like healthy relationships and stuff like that.
In all things, right? Yeah, and
Yeah.
relationships,
Hmm.
food. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Exit, like anything you can think of, it
it's
goes
true.
back to like what you learned about that thing when you were
Right.
younger,
Yes. Yes.
right?
That's a good
It's
place to start.
yeah,
Happy,
another
it's
good
like
place.
yeah, it's like happy trails. This is where you start. This is where the trail starts.
Yeah,
Childhood.
yeah. Start with, if there's something that you know about yourself that you don't enjoy, or if there's a way that you
Yeah.
respond to things or other people that is
Hmm.
not bringing
And
you the
question.
Yeah, the reactions that you want. Like, ask yourself, well, where's that coming from? Like,
What's
why
happening? Yeah.
and have I always acted that way? And is that even
Yeah.
me? Or is that someone
Right.
else? You know?
That's something.
Yeah. I was talking to this I used to have this life coach, and she would say that there's different people that are like living kind of in our heads. And sometimes you have to identify where that voice is. Is it your voice or is it someone else's voice? And like
Yeah.
understand where that
Yeah.
voice is coming from. And maybe at the time when you were 10, you needed that person or that voice to like protect you or keep you safe or whatever. But like now, you don't really need that voice. That voice is not helpful. So like
Yeah.
identify
Yeah.
it, think it, and like tell it to go on its way. Like you don't need it anymore.
Go sit down in the
Yeah. No, it was just really powerful when she said that, because I used to think that all those voices were me, and I'm like, oh my god, why can't I figure this out?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
They're not you. They're not you. They were just voices that you heard. Whether it was, like I said, that male figure in my life that said something, a teacher, from back in the day who may have said something, or even just someone I saw in the street. I saw something that happened, and I'm like, oh my god, this is me.
Yeah. You can't internalize that.
No, it's okay to like let that go and like move on.
Let that go. Yeah, definitely let that go.
Yeah, find something else that's more positive to believe in. All right, so our last question, Lorri, and I'm gonna let you go back to your wonderful teaching, is what was your last happy moment?
That's a good one. My last happy moment. My last happy moment was, I don't know. Well, I have a large scale moment and like something like small scale. So my little grandsons, they're one is 2, one's 4. Well, he's about to be 4, and so one of the happy moments was helping them learn how to share. And then when they like share it, when they were like because they both have a tablet, right? So they play little things on their tablets, whatever. And then when one has something that on the other one that they want to watch, and they're like struggling, I'm like, they're the same. They have the same thing on the same tablet. You can play, or I said, or you can just watch together. Like I explained to them what. Right. So when they finally did that, like when they're working that out and do that, that's a happy moment for me. Seeing my kids. Yeah, another happy moment, like on a larger scale, seeing the kids grow up and like live their lives. That's a happy moment, because I'm like, oh, and then it's in the same thing, same topic. Some of the kids, they're like, oh, I do this and do this, and they're like, wonder why I do that. Like when I was growing up, and they can question me, which is exciting for me, because I'm like, I kind of put the pieces together, because they're like, oh, well, I'm like, one of my daughters, for example, she was like really like short temper, right? So, and when she was little, I used to say, okay, close your eyes, deep breath, like, and like now when you're talking to her, like she's at work or doing whatever, and she's like, I feel it coming. She's like these people, somebody's getting on my nerves, and she just like takes a second. She still uses that, so that when I hear them doing little things that that I kind of help them along their way with that. That makes me happy.
Oh, yes. Those are great happy moments. Oh my gosh. Teaching the grandkids 2 and 4 are like great ages too. Like, so that's just so wonderful.
They're hilarious.
Yeah. They're so cute. They're like you said, impressive. Like they're learning and picking up. They're like little sponges. So you tell them something good and they do it. You're like, oh, thank God.
I know. I'm like, and I get excited. So I pay attention to the positive things that they do, not so much the negatives, because that's a big thing too.
Yes, that makes a big difference, especially especially with children. Lots of times they always want to point out that you need to do better. I think they do good at anything, then. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Lorri.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful talking with you.
We'll do this again. We'll have to do it again. It's been fun.
Yes, we will. We will have to do it again. Maybe I'll do like a round table or something. Because lots of times I talk to the ladies and they're like, "Oh, this was so fun. Like we should do it another time."
Yeah, that'd be really nice. Yeah. Think about that. Brainstorm that. Think about that.
Yeah, maybe I will. We could do like some group discussions and like share some things.
That'd be nice.
That'd be fun. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your
Thank you so much.
Friday. Have a
You
great
too.
weekend. I can't wait to see online the next mom's dance. I'm like so
Yeah.
excited for the
Oh
moms.
yeah, yeah. Check out that. We have the Instagram, Facebook thing going on, but yeah, you can check that
Yes.
out. It'll be there sooner or later. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much
Awesome.
for inviting me, though. Really fun.
Oh,
Really.
this was great. This was great. Thank you. Thank you. Talk soon.
Thank you. Bye. Enjoy
Bye.
your day. Bye.
Bye.